Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Sunday. Today I am finally bringing you some thoughts slash reviews on the Scentworx brand of candles. These guys right here. I have 5 to share with you today. These were sent to me by Scentworx. So most of you guys are familiar with the fact that I am helping moderate the Facebook Homeworx Scentworx fan page, and we don't get paid for doing that, by the way. I know there's like some weird rumor about that. I would love to get a paycheck for doing that, but I can assure you I do not. But what Homeworx and Scentworx does do is periodically send out some PR for us to be able to share thoughts with you guys. So that is how I ended up with these Scentworx candles. So yeah, fun fact. You guys know that I have loved and purchased my own Homeworx candles for, well, basically since the brand was launched on QVC a few years ago, and love them. Definitely, I would say probably right now my number one favorite candle brand is Homeworx. I just tend to find a really good fit in terms of fragrances that I like, in terms of strength and throw, specifically in my house here, because obviously that can vary depending on your living situation. But for me, in my house, the strength and throw that I get from the vast majority of the candles have always made them worth purchasing, even though for the most part, I have to purchase most of what I buy from Homeworx online, and a lot of it is, I was gonna say sight unseen, but it's smell unsmelled. I mean, I am just relying off of descriptions that are presented either in the description box on the website where they're being sold, whether it's Ulta or QVC, or I'm relying on the host descriptions from QVC. So yeah, I mean, I'm buying pretty much all of these candles without having smelled them first. Is there a dud here and there with Homeworx? Absolutely. No candle company is perfect, but I tend to have really good luck with Homeworx. So that being said, fun fact, ever since Scentworx was released, I have not purchased one Scentworx candle. And here's the reason why I have not purchased them myself in the past. The first is that I know that the partnership with Kohl's for the Scentworx candles was specifically so that there was a, a more affordable, a more readily accessible version of Homeworx, but I guess less higher end brand. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this because I don't entirely know all of the reasons for popping over to Kohl's, but I'm sure a lot of it had to do with the fact that there were a lot of people who thought the Homeworx candles were just far too expensive, and they either were not willing to invest in them or they could not budget to invest in the Homeworx candles. And so Harry wanted to create a line that was more readily accessible to pretty much everybody. So for me, when I read a lot of the descriptions and started hearing a lot of the reviews that were originally being released, I thought, well, it's kind of like, I don't want to call it a watered down version of Homeworx, but these blends are definitely not quite as sophisticated. The packaging is obviously different. Just the presentation overall is, it's different from the Homeworx candles. So, but I just honestly never felt drawn to drive down to the Kohl's, which is like 5 miles from my house. I mean, there's a Kohl's literally right down the street. And they carry the candles. I have seen them in store when I've putzed through to like go look at kids' shoes. But I just was never really inspired to stop and I mean, I definitely smelled them a few times, but I was never inspired to buy them. So I'm kind of glad that Scentworx sent these to me, because I still don't know that I would have ever bought any myself. For me, it was always the mindset of I would rather save my money for the Homeworx, because I know I love those. I know those perform in my house. And quite honestly, I don't know what the return policy is with Kohl's anyway in terms of candles that either futz out or whatever. Obviously, I don't really return things to QVC. That's too much of a hassle. So I have definitely returned things to Ulta when they didn't perform according to specifications, but I think I've done that with like one HomeWorks candle. But other than that, I just tend to keep the candles and burn them. It's just what I do. So with all that being said, I have 5 candles here that are, most of them are just about at the halfway point or beyond. So I'm gonna start with the 3 that are at the halfway point or beyond. And then I'm gonna tell you individually whether I plan on repurchasing any of these or whether I plan on purchasing any other Scentworx candles in the future to be able to test out for you guys. By the way, the price point on these vary greatly. I believe that, do they have the regular price on here? I think they retail for something like $26.99, $27.99 just regularly, and then they're always on sale. And there's obviously Kohl's Cash. I don't know that these can be found on sale with coupons. I think I saw something about a lot of coupons not being applicable to these because they are in the beauty department at Kohl's, and a lot of times when you get a Kohl's coupon, it doesn't apply to the beauty department stuff. So just something to keep in mind. But just a couple weeks ago, these candles were like 10 bucks. So super, super affordable. Less than the price point of Bath and Body Works even. So, keep that in mind in terms of price point. It really varies, but they do seem to go on sale quite frequently. So I don't think you need to, nor do I think should you pay like the full retail price. Just wait for a sale or see if there is a coupon that does come around that is good for the stuff in the beauty department as well. Okay, so first I'm gonna start with Cashmere Pumpkin. This one I have burned definitely to the halfway point. What I will say is I don't really notice any sooting with these. The wicks are, I wish I had a new one to show you, but they're all burned. The wicks are very long when you get these. Don't trim them. Don't trim the wicks. They go down to the size that they are supposed to be, their ideal size. As soon as you light them, don't trim these. So keep that in mind. In between burns, for example, none of these have had their wicks trimmed, so they just kind of trim themselves. I don't think I have one of these that has any like mushroom tops at all. The glass, by the way, is very, very thick. It's very heavy glass. Has a really nice shape to it. Obviously, it's different. These are taller than the HomeWorks, and they're definitely not quite as big in diameter. So we'll talk about what that affects here in a second, but yeah, this is the Cashmere Pumpkin. The notes are white pumpkin, ginger, creamy woods, and cardamom. This sounds like it would be a very sophisticated, kind of like higher end fancy scent. I feel like this is a watered down version of the Autumn Pumpkin. And I really think that the HomeWorks Autumn Pumpkin is done much better. There's a sophistication to that one, and there is just a richness to that I'm not getting in the Cashmere Pumpkin. But if you do like the Autumn Pumpkin and you want something to complement it, I feel like this would be a great option for that. It definitely burns nice. It's got really nice orange wax. I think that I would have maybe chosen a white wax for this and just kept this all very like neutral and like white pumpkin, but there's quite a bit of orange on here, and then the wax within the white container is orange, so you can kind of see a little bit of that orange through here, but it's a nice scent. Do I like it? I think that I like it, but I don't love it. Definitely not something that I would repurchase with this one. It would be a one and done for me. Let's talk about the spiced pumpkin apple. Now, this one here is interesting because every company has an exact scent to this. It's a very generic fall apple cider type scent. That being said, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but every company does have a version. Bath and Body Works has I think theirs is called pumpkin apple, and then Yankee has apple pumpkin. And I mean, you go down the line of even probably the candles that you can find at Walmart. There's a very similar version of this particular scent. Spiced pumpkin, apple, ginger, and cinnamon. Really, that's what this is. It's heavier on the apple and the cinnamon and ginger than it is on the pumpkin, but you can definitely get some pumpkin in here. It's a very nice scent for fall. This is very pleasant. I enjoy this one. The strength and throw of this one is right on par with what the rest are. And so I'm going to tell you about strength and throw at the end. So don't think I'm forgetting that, because I have something to say about that for sure. But this is pleasant, and these burn really nicely. There is a little bit of schmutz that's left on the sides, but these pull out completely. This one here was a little wonky because I lit it and then just a few minutes later realized that Stella and I have to run to the bank, so I had to blow it out. But for the most part, these pull out fairly quickly, and yeah, start throwing fairly soon after being lit. Another one here is the Maple Pancakes. I gotta admit that out of all of these, this is my least favorite because I don't really care for maple scents, but I did burn it, and I burned it enough. Maple syrup, buttermilk, fresh pumpkin, and cinnamon. First off, I don't get much pumpkin from this, but I get heavy on the maple, and I also get like a salty, like, it's almost like a bacon type note. I know that sounds crazy. I'm not saying this smells like bacon and pancakes or anything, but it's the maple in here that just, for whatever reason, something about it smells kind of salty to me. Like the same saltiness that I get from bacon. There's like a smoky saltiness to this. I think it's a pleasant scent. I can see why a lot of people really like this scent, but I've never been a big maple person at all. You have not seen me pick up a whole lot of maple stuff from any other candle company because it's not typically my thing. I think it's done okay in here, but it's still not something that I enjoyed. I am not a maple person, but does it smell like pancakes? Not much in the way of batter or like a freshly made pancake, but it just really smells like a salty maple syrup. It's very sweet. There is cinnamon in here. It definitely smells like a fall breakfast, if you will, but I don't know that it's necessarily pancakes. It's definitely syrup though, so this would not be a repurchase for me. Next, we have the spiced pumpkin, which again is kind of a little bit of a, what I would call generic scent, not in a bad way, but just that generic kind of fall spices scent. So the notes on this one are fresh pumpkin, nutmeg, maple wood, and cinnamon bark. Thankfully, I don't get much maple in this at all. There is a slight smokiness or a woodiness to this, but it's mostly that like creamy pumpkin spice filling type of scent that you get here. There's no crust note or anything like that. And again, it just is just very basic, which is kind of like really what I would say the trend is amongst the 5 of these is the blends themselves they are not as fancy or sophisticated as the HomeWorks blends, which is what I really appreciate about the HomeWorks candles is there's a little bit more to them than there is with the Scentworx. But I think that was the point. This next one, I actually just blew out, so it is a little bit, yeah, there's still liquid wax in here. I have burned this one the most, and this is by far my favorite. Now this one I think I would actually consider repurchasing. I really like the scent, but I tend to like blueberry things as well. So this is the blueberry pumpkin, and the notes on this read vanilla bean, blueberry, white pumpkin, and whipped vanilla. So really what this smells like is a creamy blueberry with a, now see, this does scream a little bit more like either French toast or like pancakey to me. There's more of a gourmand note to this than there is in any of the other ones. And it's really nice. And I think it does have that really beautiful creamy vanilla base. When I first saw this, I thought blueberry pumpkin, I'm not sure about that, but this works. There really isn't much in the way of pumpkin in this. It's mostly like that creamy blueberry breakfast type scent. It's really nice. I enjoy this one a lot. This is the one that I would repurchase, and it was the one that I was like probably the most iffy about at first, but I really like that one. So let's talk just generally across the board in terms of strength and throw. For all of these, the strength and throw are pretty much the same. Strength, I'm gonna put at about maybe a 4.5. They're not crazy strong. And the throw I would also put at right around a 4. What these are room filling candles. These are not house filling candles, which is the thing that again, that I always go back to Homeworks with is I have the best luck with those guys, especially in my little fragrance vortex being thrown around like the entire house. But these themselves, like when I have the blueberry pumpkin in the kitchen, I can smell it in the kitchen, but it doesn't travel outside of my kitchen. When I had this one in my office, it filled my office very nicely with a pleasant aroma, not crazy strong, which is probably good in an enclosed room because that is kind of a room in and of itself. There are doors on my office. So, but it doesn't travel outside of that office. And that's just the general, I guess, consensus that I have come to with these candles is they're great for a specific room, but they're not gonna fill your house. And so therefore, I would recommend these more for people that don't have an open concept home, people that maybe live in an apartment. These would be a fantastic option for you. People who live in maybe older homes where there's a little bit more of a traditional layout, so specific rooms versus like the downstairs of our house, which is completely open concept. Like you walk in through the entryway, you go right into the family room, right there is the kitchen nook, then there's the kitchen, and then as soon as you walk in to the left, there's a dining room, and then there is like a formal living room over here. So the entire downstairs is just an open space. I mean, there's some walls, but the airflow is really nice in the downstairs of the house, and it just kind of swirls around that central area where our staircase is. So, but even with that good airflow down there, these are room specific candles. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're not looking for insane throw or strength because you deal with migraines potentially, but you want some like milder home fragrance options, these are for you. And if you just want to try them, I mean, you can get these on a great sale and test them out, and there might be a scent that you love. Before you ask me if these are going to fit into a candle crock, they're not. I did try, but what they do fit on are, and I'll link an example down below. I forgot to bring mine up, but they do fit on the hot plate warmers, specifically the ones that come with the larger, lower flat dishes. Those that you can take off, those particular hot plate warmers are perfect for these. The entire like bottom part fits within that. And I had put this one on there for a little bit the other day, not for long because I wanted to be sure to be able to relight it. And it completely melted this. And this is, like I said, just beyond the halfway point here. So this definitely, this can be put on a hot plate warmer. But yeah, anyway, also if you order them online from Kohl's, do be careful. I have seen in the Facebook group that Kohl's also pulls an Ulta from time to time, and they tend to just wrap them in some bubble wrap and throw them in an enormous box and then send them on their way with UPS. I would say buy in store if you can. I I think you're gonna have better luck getting them in one piece potentially. So, but that's the beauty. There's Kohl's all over the country, so you should be able to find these at your local Kohl's, sniff them out for yourself and see if there's something that really appeal to you. So yeah, for me, do I think that I will be a convert to Scentworx? I don't think so. I am so loyal to Homeworx, you guys, and those are the blends and the scents and the strength and the throw that I really need in this particular house. So for me, I'm gonna keep going with the Homeworx. If there is like some really good gourmand stuff that comes out at Kohl's, I know that there's a couple of holiday scents that I wanna try. He does have I think he has a sugar cookie, and then there's a couple of other like sweeter vanilla type scents that I'm still interested in. So I'll probably purchase those and review them for you guys. But for the most part, I'm just gonna save my money for the Homeworx. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Definitely a big thanks to Scentworx for sending these out. I think they were good for me to finally be able to try and let you guys know my thoughts. You've been asking me for a very long time, and I just kind of kept putting it off because I was like, I love the Homeworx, man. That's really where I started with, well, no, I started with Harry Slatkin back in the BBW days, but that's really where I think he excels the most. And those are just the blends and the scents that I tend to love more so than these guys here. So anyway, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. I hope this was helpful, and hopefully this kind of answers the question of what do I think about them? Yeah, I think they're nice, and I think they're definitely a great option for some people, but I think for me, I'll stick with the Homeworx. So have a great rest of your day, guys. Leave me any questions down below. I will link these guys and whatever else is available at Kohl's right now and whatever sale they're having in the description box. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.